ahead. I'm sorry.
All right, we're joined now by Duke head coach Mike Krzyzewski. We have student athletes Paulo Banchero, Mark Williams, and AJ Griffin. We're going to ask Coach for an opening statement, and then we'll take questions for the players, and then we'll dismiss the players, and then take questions from Coach.
Well, that was just a heck of a game. That was really a good basketball game. You know, right after when Jim and I shook hands on the court, we both smiled at one another. You know, we've done this hundreds of times, and a good number, a really good game. This is a really good game. This is a game where both teams are worthy of winning. Kids are making really good plays. You didn't win because somebody made a mistake or you fumbled into something. Everything was earned tonight, and so I'm proud of my guys. These three, my guys really played well. We started out, and they almost knocked us out. The plan we had didn't work, or wasn't working defensively, and we weren't aggressive in the plan we had, and that's on us, on the coaching staff, on me. And then we changed it and got back to playing our regular stuff, and we were able to tie the game. AJ really gave us a 12-point spurt there, and he's done that a number of times this season. And we were able to score right at the end of the half, and it was even. Although, we could have been down even double digits if we kept going. But we did right the ship, and the second half was just back and forth. And we hit on a little thing we do and got some multiple looks and got a little bit of a margin. And then I thought two of the key plays were the blocks when they had fast breaks. And our guys made magnificent plays on them. But we also turned them into a bucket. So there were 2 4-point turnarounds during that time. And they were flawless in free throws and execution. So my guys did a great job to beat Jim's guys who did a great job.
Our first question is going to come from the middle on second row to the back.
Hey, Paulo. I'm just curious, how much did you put it on your own shoulders coming into this game to set the tone, in terms of intensity?
I don't really think. I just know that when I'm intense and up and talking, it just rubs off, and we all are. So when we went down early, I just wanted to assert myself and be vocal and get everybody going. And we responded great. AJ, like Coach said, scored like 12 straight and basically put us back in the game single-handedly. And then Jeremy went full court and got a layup at the end, and that gave us a lot of momentum. But credit to Miami, they didn't fold at all. They had an answer every time. But yeah.
Our next question will come from Michelle on the front row in the middle.
Okay. If I could ask AJ, do you think that Miami is a little bit underrated sometimes? You guys have played them. They've been really tough both times. They haven't been ranked at all season.
It's a mistake.
I think they're a tough team. Just we knew it was going to be a fight, and I give credit to them. We knew it was going to be a fight coming into the game, so yeah, you could say they're underrated. They're a really talented team, and they got a lot of great players on that team. So yeah.
We're going to go to the back right of the room.
This is for AJ. What does it mean for you and the team to get to the ACC final and Coach's final season?
It's in their first. I'm trying to get away from all that. It's really too much. It's their season, so it's all about them. It is, and I don't want to be a distraction to them. This is their season, especially now. Especially now. They only get it once. I've had it numerous times. It's all theirs, and I'm going to try to do my best to help them in their season. All right. I'm sorry. Then you can answer. Yeah. It'll be both of our questions. It's good teamwork. Thank you.
Let's go to the middle of the room to Brendan there.
This question is for AJ. Coach told us you weren't feeling great yesterday. May have eaten something funny. Can you just tell us how you were feeling yesterday? It seems like you're feeling better now. How are you?
He wasn't feeling well today before the game.
Can you sort of walk us through that and how you were able to, when you may have started to feel like yourself a little bit more?
I mean, you know, despite whatever circumstance, you know, I'm just thinking about the game. You know, no matter how my body's feeling, you know, my teammates, they count on me to, you know, do my part. And so, I just want to win. And so, you know, I put it on the line for everyone, you know, just, and all glory to God, too, because, you know, being able to be content in every single circumstance. And so, you know, just knowing how much it means to my teammates, too, you know, I would not want to miss it and just think of what if or something. Yeah.
When you go to Paul in the front row.
AJ, even though I'm a Mount Vernon guy, it really made my heart feel good to see a local guy have a performance like that. Coming off the food sickness and not being yourself even today, as Coach said. How does it feel to have a game like that in your backyard?
I mean, it was a lot of fun, you know. And pretty much doing it in New York, you know, my hometown, just having family here, just doing it in front of them, and seeing people who, you know, grew up watching me play. It feels great, and you know, you just having my teammates out there too, just being able to, you know, just find me and be there to pick me up too on the court. You know, not feeling great, just them be here for me. I appreciate it a lot.
And he didn't have his senior year. So, you know, at Stepanak and play, they have a great, I know Mount Vernon has one too, but they have a great tradition. So that's a heck of a thing for him.
We're going to go to the left side of the room.
Yeah, hey Paolo. It seemed like you guys needed a spark there early in the first half. I think you guys are down by 8 or so. You stepped up there for a bunch of possessions in a row. What was working for you, and what gave you that edge to just get going there?
Just trying to establish myself early, just being aggressive. Really, that's all it was. I was just out there playing, just playing basketball, but doing it aggressively and, with a lot of effort. So, I mean, that's really all that was to it. I didn't really have a specific thing I was trying to do. I was just trying to go out there and be aggressive and play hard and, get the lead.
When you go to the right side of the room, third row.
Mark, Paula was asked after the game about who he wants tomorrow night, and he said, UNC, and you talked after the game last week of disappointment. Would playing them tomorrow night just sort of be a big motivation after what happened last weekend?
You know what? I'm going to answer it. We'll be honored to play either team. You don't pick teams right now. They're getting ready to go to battle right now. I think it would be disrespectful, really. No, I'm not saying you're disrespectful for us to answer that question. Yeah.
We're going to go to Connor in the middle of the room.
Mark, this is 2 games in a row where you guys have made a lot of plays down the stretch, and that's been an issue sometimes this season. What does it mean to do it in back-to-back games like this?
I think it means a lot. I think, plays like that shows our growth as a team. Those moments where we, didn't make those plays or didn't convert, but now, later in the season we're making those plays, making the right decisions or whatever it may be. I think it's just a testament to just, our hard work and perseverance throughout the season.
1 or 2 more questions for the student athletes before we dismiss them. Let's go to Steve in the middle.
Mark, Coach had said you guys didn't play very well defensively against Carolina, and then early today, it was kind of a struggle. What flipped the switch for you guys? How did you play so much better the rest of the game to get that win?
I think just keep going at it. I think, we never backed down. Obviously they were making some tough shots throughout the game. Obviously they're a good team. They're going to make plays, but I think just for us to, keep playing, keep battling, and just doing that till the clock hits 0.
Perfect. Thanks so much, guys. We're going to dismiss the student athletes, and then we're going to take questions for Coach.
All right. Got some fluids.
All right. Did you have a question for Coach in the second row? Okay, we'll go to the middle in the second row.
Coach, you guys played here in New York City in November. how has Paolo improved as a player, improved as a person from then to now?
Well, what's our record? We've played 33 games. So when we played the last time, it was his first game. He played pretty well on that. But I think one of the main things is integrating his talents with the talents of the other guys, and remembering that we have young guys. So the talents that we had in November are different now. Every one of our players is a different player. And Paulo is a different player too. I think he's a stronger player, a tougher player. He's even as good a teammate as he was then. He's an amazing teammate, and they all have meshed together well. And Paulo has gotten most of the attention during the year because of draft status and that. And really, that's never been a problem. There's no jealousy and because he's such a good guy and he's such a good teammate.
We're going to go to the Miller room to the back.
Coach, congrats on the win today. You've gotten 2 great battles so far in this tournament from Syracuse and Miami. You've gotten good battles from a lot of teams in this league this season, yet according to the computer metrics, according to the bracketologists, this is a very down year for the ACC. What would be your pitch or your argument to kind of reverse that narrative that there are a lot of good teams in this league?
Yeah, well, anytime you do it just numerically, you give weight, and that weight stays. Like it's all numbers, right? It really is. There's no eye test, and so like Miami. Look, Miami can beat anybody. Miami's going to be in the tournament. It's with some seed. They can play. I mean, they can really play. They have 5 guys. And what happens, teams improve just like kids improve. Like a big thing for Miami is how Miller's playing. The last 4 or 5 games, he's been their leading scorer. What do you have, 17 and 13 tonight? Everyone talks, and McGusty's a first-team All-ACC. You have a center who doesn't play in the center who had 7 assists and no turnover. They have a pro offense. They're going to be really difficult to defend. Carolina's playing lights out. Virginia Tech, what a turnaround they've had. I still think Wake Forest can beat anybody in our league. They're so big. I mean, we have a good league, but because we did not have a good non-conference, those numbers, you could never change those numbers. And so the numbers playing against each other, if you get good numbers, I'm fairly good in math, not good in English. If you get good numbers in your non-conference for conference teams, then playing each other gives you better numbers. Does that make sense? If you do not have good numbers and you play each other, even though those teams are really good, you don't get the good numbers. That's, to me, the fallacy in it. I think that's my experience in it. Usually the ACC benefits from that because we usually have a great, and so you can get 9, 10 teams in because, like wins against 4 or 5 different teams produce good numbers for you. Are you tired of me talking about numbers? But really, if you take a look at it that way, you have no way of changing that. You have no, so we're going to only play our conference teams. Just like the Big Ten will only play their conference teams. And you got to do well in the non-conference. And we didn't do well in the non-conference, and we're paying a price for it. But I just wish there was a little bit different way of looking at the whole thing.
We're going to go to the back left of the room.
Mike, you mentioned for a lot of these guys, they have one shot at this.
Yeah.
You used to not be that way. The progression of a kid's career was over 120 games, not over 35.
Right. Like these guys.
Yeah. How has that changed? How did you adjust to that? What's the different about it?
Yeah, well, it's hugely different because, you know, we have the benefit and the burden of our past. So when we start out, they're expected to be a veteran team. And so they get a lot of praise and they get a lot of criticism in their growth period. Like, you know, John Shire, who's going to be the next really good coach for Duke, in his freshman year, we got beat by VCU. You know, we got killed by Villanova's junior year in the NCAA tournament. They were able to go through things so that when they were in that year, they had already learned. These guys have to learn along the way while still carrying the banner. And so it's difficult. And then this year, especially towards the end, it started being my farewell thing, which I don't want it. It comes about, it sells tickets, but I don't want it. You know, I just want them to win because it's my only shot with them, and they're getting better. You know, they're good. We have good kids and they're getting better. I don't know what'll happen tomorrow night or whatever, but we should be a real high seed, and then hopefully, especially from these two games, and we'll learn from tomorrow's game no matter what. This team really needs that. Really needs that because they didn't have it. They didn't have it, so but that's how we've tried to adjust.
We're going to go to Brendan in the middle.
Hey, Coach, speaking of getting better, Jim said that the biggest difference that he noticed between the first time you guys played and tonight was Jeremy's evolution and the way he's playing right now and AJ becoming more integrated in the offense. Would you agree with that? And I don't want to ask you to get into the gritty details of AJ yesterday, but how did you see him respond over the course of the 24 hours to be able to do what he did?
Yeah, well, we're going to get better because they're good kids and they work hard. When we played them the last time, too, it's like 5 or 6 days after we had our stoppage, and they were good, but they weren't as good as they are now because they were winning real close games, and they're still winning close games because they got people who can do that. But AJ's evolution is amazing because he didn't play for 2 years, and then he got hurt in October and was out a couple weeks. And Jeremy, I think, just keep evolving. You know, he's not that one and done guy, and he may at some time be early, but I think his is more of a natural growth too. And I credit these guys because they really love one another. They like one another, you know, by interviewing them and that. So they're not envious of one another. So they have fertile soil to grow because they're never looking around like who's trying to do this or whatever. So, a couple weeks ago I said I wish they would be smarter. And, the last 2 games they've been very smart. They've been really smart.
And our last question will come from the left side of the room.
Hey, Coach, what have you noticed in Mark's 2 years of his defensive development? And I don't necessarily mean as a shot blocker, but more so as a big that can play 32 minutes against such a guard-heavy lineup.
Yeah, well, because he's going to be a pro, and he can do that. That's what those guys. So lateral movement. His lateral movement has increased tremendously, and that's on him and our sport, Nick Potter and Jose, our strength coach. He works all the time, and with Emil and Chris Carrawell, lateral movement, and he's gotten stronger. He's really gotten stronger. I'm very proud of him. And today, he was having a tough time early, and because we haven't played, and then you can tell when your team's getting better when they can make in-game adjustments. not just X's and O's, but with how you're playing. You're not playing real well now. Okay, what am I doing wrong? How can I improve? And that maturity, he's really become a very mature and tough guy. He's a really good basketball player, and he's going to keep getting better because he's going to keep getting stronger. But he's a good athlete, you know. And anyway, it's lateral movement. You know, his feet are wider. That's why he can stay in front. He's keeping down. Yeah, he did a good job, and he's rebounding. You know, he's going outside of his area. You know, he did that in the last game of last year when we beat Louisville, and it took him a while to get back to doing that, but he's there. Okay, thank you.
Thanks
Is
so
that it?
much, Coach. That's all
Okay.
the time we have for you.